Art supplies threatened to fall out of their grasp. Their sketchy Jenga tower of items bundled in their arms teetered as they walked. Solomon might still be in the studio if they got there soon, but as long as he didn't lock it, they didn't really care. Rope creaked above their head as MC rounded the corner, freezing at the curtain of purple hair obscuring the rest of the hall. A nervous chuckle sounded from the woman, her face flushed. She swung steadily, hugging a knee to her chest as she reached for her other ankle. 13 was suspended by her ankle in the middle of the hallway. "A little help?" she laughed, dropping back toward the ground. The rope bounced at the sudden jerk, her swing increasing ever so slightly. MC sighed. This woman really was hopeless. They'd lost count of how often they'd helped her out of one of her traps. They worked better on the Reaper than any of her targets. MC flicked their pocket knife open, dumping their supplies to the side and finding where the rope was tied to a cauldron filled with rocks. Instead of untying it or letting her down slowly, MC opted to saw through the rope, letting the Reaper careen to the floor. She plummeted face first on the rug. "Ow, shit," 13 groaned. She seemed all right at first, pushing herself onto her knees before collapsing back to the ground. She fell hard onto her shoulder. "Shit." The human's smile dropped. They flipped the knife shut, running over to the Reaper. "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine, just..." She winced, massaging her hand. "I fell on my wrist," she laughed softly. She took the hand they offered her, climbing to her feet. MC walked her to the cafeteria, buying a cold drink to ice her wrist. It seemed not even Rad could keep a nurse on campus more than twice a week. They ducked into an empty classroom, 13 hopping on a desk as she clutched the bottle to her joint. She talked about anything and everything that came to mind as MC rooted through the teacher's desk for a first aid kit. They looked at her strangely when they returned with athletic tape. MC chuckled and shook their head, taking both 13's hand and the bottle, setting the soda to the side, and applying the supportive tape to her wrist. "What was that trap anyway?" MC asked, not looking up from her mummified joint. The Reaper's feet kicked between them, the movements just barely avoiding hitting MC's knees. Her eyes danced around the room. "Solomon likes to paint there, so I thought I could get him on his way out, but he came out when I was looking the other way and pushed me into the loop." She laughed, a breathy one that your throat stops too early and kind of chokes itself out. MC had never seen 13 this fidgety before, and they had calculus with her. Something was clearly wrong. They set her hand gently on her lap, tilting their head to look her in the eye. She side-eyed them briefly, before becoming too interested in what was probably the most boring poster in the room. "Hey." The Reaper tensed at their gentle tone. "Are you sure you're all right?" She giggled again. "Yeah, of course. Why wouldn't I be?" 13. MC's voice was stern, the Reaper still avoiding their eyes. "What's wrong?" "I'm fine," they sighed, falling quiet. MC climbed on the desk beside 13, sitting in silence with her for what felt like ages. "MC," 13 began, her voice solemnly quiet. "Do you know where Reapers come from?" "Storks?" the human joked. She laughed, shaking her head. "In a way, yeah." 13's face tightened again. Reapers were human. Once." MC straightened, giving the woman their full attention. 13 picked at the edges of the tape, ignoring the ache in her arm. "Reapers are humans that killed themselves." "What?" MC's voice was barely a whisper, their eyes wide. "Diavolo told you they're between realms, right? That's because we don't classify anymore. We interfered with our lifelines, so we can't go to heaven or hell." She talked with her hands, rambling quickly through the incredibly complicated technicalities that would naturally lead to the creation of a new species of supernatural being. MC didn't seem to be taking any of it in, but 13 couldn't seem to stop herself. We're punished for that interference by having to monitor the lives of others and harvest their souls when they die. It kind of sucks, really, having your sentence be to watch others living out happy lives after you chose to end yours early. But I guess it's fitting, and I really don't mind. I mean, it's kind of fun, and I like to see people that are happy. 13, you... MC interrupted. The Reaper felt eerily quiet. You're dead? Technically. You... MC's eyes looked like shimmering pearls, tears threatening to breach their surfaces. You killed yourself? The Reaper didn't answer for a moment, her own eyebrows drawing tightly together, the corners of her mouth pulling upward in a strained smile. I don't like to think of it that way. MC's voice was tight and low. You don't like to think of it that way. What does that mean, 13? When you say it like that, it sounds really bad. How am I supposed to say it? She hesitated. I'm not sure. Why? MC's voice cracked. Why would you do that? 13 breathed deeply. I couldn't take it anymore. I hated the world. I hated every moment. Every hello felt like sandpaper in my throat. Every face was like candles on my retinas. Every pill felt like a new bar on a cage, forcing me to be something I'm not. Every smile forced to keep the crazy girl from lashing out. Every feeling I had looked like an atom bomb to the people around me. My family sent me away. They said I was crazy. Maybe I was. They sent me to an asylum. They gave me pills, shocked me, left me in cells by myself for weeks at a time. It was hell. I don't think they wanted to help me. I think they just got a kick out of it. I never got a single letter when I was there. Tears started to run down her face, paving wet trails against her burning cheeks. I didn't know patients even got letters for the first 2 years I was there. My roommate told me the day before she left. She'd been getting them the whole 3 months she was there. For 2 years, no one even told me. She was gesturing wider, her voice coarse and loud now. I was tired of being an exhibit, a freak show, something to look at to feel better about the world they lived in. I was tired of people's faces changing when they looked at me. Their smiles were never real. I wasn't human to them. Not anymore. 13 wiped at her face, the skin stretching and pulling under her hands. She dug her palms into her cheeks, as if trying to scrape off the water. I started cutting when my roommate left. There wasn't anyone left to stop me. The nurses never looked, if no one told them to. I chewed my fingernails until they could grab skin, and it helped me cope for a while. Not long enough, I suppose. They really should have had overnight staff in asylums. Maybe it would have been a little harder to get to the roof. She smiled grimly. It was only dark for a moment. I remember I was angry at first. I didn't believe in an afterlife, and I'm sure you understand that when someone chooses to die, they aren't excited about living again. But a voice called out to me. It told me that what I had done was against the laws of life and the natural order, and I would pay for it with my afterlife. It told me I was reborn, a reaper, and I would spend eternity watching others enjoy what I gave up, and they would beg me to keep it when I came to collect their souls. And I would have to take them away anyway. That's the part of the job I hate, you know. I love watching people live, people with shiny, beautiful, happy souls. Seeing people that live happy, fulfilling lives is a perk. I never got that. I like that others can. I don't want anyone to suffer how I did. But when they beg me, I hate that. I don't want their lives to end either. Really. But I have to do it. If I don't, they become like me. They become an anomaly, an outlier, a reaper. MC stared at her, stunned. Wow. Sorry, it's a lot, she laughed. Yeah. MC's voice was still quiet. They continued staring at her, cheeks damp and mouth agape. Her face was still red, eyes burning, dry and sore. She took another breath. That's why I don't trust people. I can't keep friends and She trailed off. Scared? Yeah. MC set their hand on the desk, palm up, inviting 13 to take it. Hesitantly, she did. They didn't say anything, letting the quiet fall back over them. Still uneasy, but no longer tense, the silence was welcome. When you were human, MC began, turning their attention to the woman. Were your eyes always that green? 13 laughed. No, I think they were blue. I don't remember that well. Blue? Maybe. She smiled. Do all reapers have pretty green eyes? Most. Some are kind of ugly, though. MC laughed this time. What about your hair? Do you dye it? Yeah, and it's a bitch to keep up on. What color is it naturally? Gray. Gray? Yeah, like old lady gray. Gross. Tell me about it. The two laughed loudly. The conversation bounced between them like a tennis match for another hour, though it only felt like minutes. The two talked with their hands, talking animatedly atop the desks. However, on the desk between them, MC's hand lay perfectly fixed, palm up, and 13's hand rested atop it, long polished fingernails shimmering under the lights as her fingers curled around MC's, steady and still.